Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Welcome to your How We Build meeting. So I'll basically conduct this as if, you were here in person. I'm going to show you exactly what I would show you then as well. And then I'll get this all uploaded for you hopefully this evening. But basically what I like to do is we just kind of walk the home. I'll kind of point out all the little fits and features. And then I'll just kind of go over everything that you can see behind the wall before we hang drywall. So first and foremost, I like to always start out in the garage, and I'll kind of work my way systematically from left to right. So first thing you'll notice here, these quick ties, this whole system, I basically have a plan laid out, and then it shows you exactly where these go. So it's basically a metal wire that runs from the top plate. So they drill a hole through there. There's a big washer in there. And then they drill it down into the footer, and then they epoxy it, and it sets, and then they tighten it up after the epoxy dries. And what that does is it's basically this whole system to make the house like a hurricane proof, if you will. So we have also these anchor bolts that are located throughout the bottom plate as well. Those are drilled in, epoxied, and then they are tightened down, and you can see they got this big flat washer on here as well. And then the hurricane straps, which are attached to the top plate, and they nail into the trusses here. Those are all throughout the home on every single truss. So basically, when you incorporate all these elements, this is what gives you that hurricane wind rating system. So everything is basically tied in together, and it's all like one solid unit. So that's basically the system that we use to give us that rating. Moving on, so this blue wire right here, you'll see it comes down here, and then there's another blue wire in that corner of the garage as well. This is for the garage door sensor. So it's like a little laser unit that'll be set up right here on the track, and then that will shoot a beam across the way so that if you were to step across this threshold, it'll stop the garage door from coming down, and then it comes back up. So those are what that blue wire is, and then those are run up through the ceiling, and then it comes down here. So the garage door unit, they'll drill it right up into the ceiling right here. That blue wire will then connect into it, and then it'll be plugged into this box right here. And then this box right here is the lighting for the garage door. And then on that wall right there with that blue wire, that's for the button. So they have a physical button that you can press that open and closes the garage door. And they'll also give you 2 remotes at closing that you can put in your cars. And while I'm standing over here, this is your meter base. So this, they prefab these, and then this will be installed right over here where all those conduits are coming up, and that's for your low voltage. That's for where the electric meter will go, and that's where that will sit. So they have that sitting in here, and they'll put that in concrete. So moving on this wall over here, the only thing you have is an outlet. And I will say this, if you're planning on doing any kind of shelving in the garage, that you do it on this wall versus that wall. That wall has all your the utilities on it, so there's a lot more behind the drywall in there, so there's a slightly higher chance of hitting something. This wall, there's nothing to hit. There's only that singular outlet in there. In the ceiling here, I have your attic access box. So basically that'll have a piece of drywall on there. It'll get trimmed out, and then inside there you'll have a outlet and then a switch to turn on the light, and that light box is right there. So you can see you shouldn't really need to access the attic. The only reason anybody would need to go up there is to do any kind of maintenance on all the mechanicals that run up through the ceiling, but it's there if you need it, and again, it's a code thing as well. So moving along here, I've got your 20 amp dedicated outlet on this wall right here, and I have that, if you can see it right there, like marked up. So I know just from my own personal reference that that's where that outlet is, and that'll be on its own switch in the panel. And we have another outlet on this wall here. And then right here, first things first, this orange tube, they're usually blue, but it's called a Smurf tube. This is where your low voltage will run through. So that little access panel right here is for the Hargray or Spectrum. Those are the internet companies out here. So when you come and set up your internet, or when they come to set up the internet, they'll come and snake the wire through this conduit. So it's that conduit on the outside comes up through this gray conduit right here, and then they pull it and then snake it through this orange conduit, which then comes up through the ceiling, and then it goes into the low voltage cabinet in the laundry room, which I'll point out when we get to there. And then we have your electric panel right here. Everything will be labeled, and then we'll leave a couple empty slots on the bottom if you want to add any additional electrical after the fact. And then next door to there, this is where that electric panel is grounded. So that's where that green wire is going, and it's attached to that rebar, and that rebar goes down into the footer. And they busted up the concrete a little bit trying to get that inside the wall, and they'll patch that when we do our quality check later on. This right over here, this is your main water line. So you'll have access to this when the home closes. They'll just have a trim out box around it, but that's how you turn on and off the water. And again, these are some of these things I'll go back over with you when we do the new home celebration, that final walkthrough, because they're just relevant information to how you can operate some of these. And especially for the water, make sure to turn that off if you leave on any extended vacation. But that's everything in the garage. So stepping forward into the actual home itself, we first walk into the laundry room. Right off to my left here, you have the switch. So that switch will control the light inside. So it controls this light in this laundry room, and then it'll control the light out to the garage as well. And then this over here, this is for your AC closet. So they already have the rough-in installed, and then when they come out to actually trim it out, they'll put the unit and they'll set it in here, and you'll have a cutoff switch for the AC unit and a light switch, which is controlled with that box right there. And then we have the gas coming down into it from here. So everything gas will be with this black pipe right here, and I'll point out where that enters the home when we get to that later. Right over here, we have the section for your washer dryer. So washer always goes on the left-hand side, dryer on the right-hand side. These are your hot and cold supplies. And then this part in the middle, that's where the drain hose will get put down into. So that's where it'll drain out. And then dryer exhaust vent runs up through the ceiling right there. And then we give you the outlets for both of those right there. And you have another light switch right here. So directly behind me, this is your low voltage box. So when they trim it out, it'll have a little actual door panel, but you can see that orange tube is running down into this box. And this is where your modem will sit. So all that green, black wire, that's your RG6 and Cat6 wire. So that's what's going up through the home. And then that's what's going into your low voltage little panels there. So this right here is your laundry utility room. Just a little outshot, and then every room gets an air supply as well. So that's that right there, that ductwork. So stepping into the main living area, we first walk into the kitchen. So right to my right, we have the pantry. So you'll have rows of shelving. Typically it's 5 in here, and then depending on which shelving you got. Right to the right of that, you have the so this is your water line for your refrigerator. So this is where this will go. You have outlets for that specifically, and then you'll have outlets in your backsplash as well. So that's for that. And then also this white wire poking out here, that's for the under cabinet lighting. So they rough that in so that when they, hang up drywall and put the cabinets, this will be right there for them to attach into. And then moving over this way, this is rest of the kitchen. So again, that white wire right there, that's that under cabinet lighting. You have the switches for when you walk in here. So again, one of your options, you did the ceiling lights, the recessed ceiling lights in the kitchen. So you got 6 of those. And then those 2 blue boxes, those are for the pendant lights that hang right over the island. So that'll all be controlled by this switch right here. And then you get an outlet here, and an outlet right there. Right here we have where the range and microwave will be. So they have it written on the ground that's for the the different cabinet sizes, but this is where the range sits. You have your gas right there, and then the outlet hookup for that, and then that's the exhaust vent for the microwave. So this exhausts up and through the roof, so we don't have any of the recirculating microwave. And then that yellow wire is the power source for that. And then turned around here, we have your kitchen island. So dishwasher will go on the left-hand side. You have your sink here, and then you'll have a cabinet on the right-hand side here. And that's the power for your garbage disposal in there. So that is the general kitchen right here, and then you also get that air supply in their kitchen as well. And I'm sorry about that, my video is being interrupted by a little bit of noise, but moving forward into the home, we are now in the living room. So again, top to bottom, you got light options here. So you get those, and then you get 3 on this side. And then of course, you get the air supply in there as well. And then you have the box for the ceiling fan. So that's all nailed up there so that you'll be ready to go to hang that. On this wall over here, we have a lot of switches. So you'll have some of these switches control lights on the outside. Some of them will control lights on the inside. It's kind of a learning curve when you first move in, is to get used to the switches and what they control. You get tons of outlets in the living room along the wall here. One of them will be a switched outlet. So that'll be an outlet that'll be flipped upside down, and it's controlled by one of these switches, so that when you toggle the switch, you can like plug in a lamp and it'll turn the lamp on and off. So it cuts power to and from the outlet off. But then by code also, you know, no more than 6 foot from a corner, you have to have an outlet. So we give you plenty of those. So I was trying to have everything completed before, you know, I did this video, but we were just waiting on it. And the only thing I'm currently missing in your home is your foyer window. So they had to fix the opening. They had to push it up about 1/2 inch, but they got that repaired. So now I'm just waiting on them to bring in the window to fix. So, you know, they have their ladder set up ready to go whenever they do get that, but they were just waiting on that. Over here in your entertainment center area, so they got it framed out for drywall to go around that, but we have your high and low voltage, so up top, down low, and then you get the outlets, the high and low outlets as well. So that was one of your options. And then in the foyer, right above me, we have the light for the chandelier, or the box for the chandelier. And then just with the way they run the ductwork, for some reason, all the foyers get an air supply. So that's just, you know, is there. But again, not you know, more on a outward facing wall, so not a terrible location for that. Moving into the dining room here, again, outlets all along the wall here. And then above me, we have the big air return, and then you get your air supply over there. And then this is the box for the light in the dining room. And then right over here on this wall, this brown wire, this is for your thermostat. So the thermostat unit will be mounted right there. And then this is for switches for in here, and then also there'll be a few switches for in there. So that is like the main living room area. So I'll move it into the master bedroom. So moving on into here, right to my left, immediately we have the switches for the room. So you get 3 switches typically in the bedroom. So one switch will control your lights right there. So you have those recessed lights in there above me. And then the next switch controls your ceiling fan light. And then that third switch controls the switched outlet. So this wall is the one that's designated as like the, you know, where the bed's gonna be placed. So on both sides, the outlet here and the outlet here, those will be on that switch. So, you know, if I hit this and you have a lamp plugged in, turn it on and off, and then you'll just get some other outlets throughout the bedroom as well. And then this wall right here, you have mounted, so you also have the high-low electric outlets and the high-low low voltage outlets. So that's what that green and red wire is, or black, whatever that color is. So you have those outlets, and then the one kind of special thing with the master bedroom is you get 2 air supplies. So you get one here, you get one here. Just so you're aware, especially for hanging purposes, on this wall right here, this is where that copper line sits for your AC unit for outside. So that'll be on the other side of this wall. Again, with the insulation and everything, you won't be able to hear it. It's very quiet. And then we have a pretty good job with the noise deadening out here as well. But just so you're aware, that line runs inside this wall cavity and then goes up into the attic. And then on this side, you also have a gas line coming in as well. So that runs behind the toilet here, but that's not usually an issue when it comes to hanging anything in that room. So there's that. And then stepping over here, we have the master closet. So everybody gets an outlet above, basically right at the top of the door frame there. So just kind of a nice little add-on that nobody has to ask for. It's just included. You got an air supply right there, light there. And then on the side of the home, this is where the gas meter will be. So on the other side, outside, when they come to do the install, that's where that'll be placed. So this is where it is coming in. So again, just good to know that that's kind of in the middle of the wall there if you're planning on doing any kind of hanging for shelving or anything like that. So moving on into the master bath. You do have a pocket door, so I just like to kind of forewarn people, there's a bit of flexibility in these studs. So I just tell people that this wall you kind of want to leave blank. Obviously it'll get tightened up when they install the drywall on there, but it's a little finicky, so that if these get pushed in at all, they can rub on the door. And then you also don't want to hang anything on this wall as well, because that door will basically be sitting right in between these slots. So if you do drill into that wall, you'll hit the door. So that wall is kind of a no-go there. So with the bathroom, one thing you will have to get used to is the switches are on the outside of the door, so you'll have to turn those on before walking in. So you have 3 switches here. So one of those controls your vanity lighting. So this white wire that is squiggled through here, that's where your vanity lights will sit, and they don't have a box for that just yet. They like to be able to center it on the vanity where the sinks are. So they'll do that after the fact. The one light is for, one of the switches is for this light above the shower, and then that third switch is for your exhaust fan right there. Right to my right, you'll have kind of a linen closet here, and then right to the left, this is the water closet. So you get 2 switches in here. So one of those controls the light, one of them controls the exhaust fan, and then you get an air supply in here as well. And that water supply for the toilet comes out the back there. And then for the shower, you'll have the control side on this side, the shower head on that side. And then your vanity, these pieces are just up for testing purposes. So obviously when we put the cabinets in, they'll chop that down. They have the wiring preset here for that when they put in the backsplash, they'll cut out a hole and the outlet will sit right there. So you have power to there. And then you'll also get an outlet in the corner as well over here. And that's all GFI outlets, but that's your water supply for your sinks. And then moving on to bedroom 2 on the other side of the home. So first thing, I'll kind of again work my way left to right. So stepping in the bedroom, you get the outlets all along the walls here. You have your air supply there, fan box there. And then also, I forgot to put out in the master, but every bedroom has a smoke detector. And then outside of every bedroom, we have a smoke carbon combo. And they're all attached together. So when one goes off, they all go off. It's very, very loud, obnoxious. But again, that's a good thing for a alarm system. And then you have the air return right over here. And then you have your closet right here as well. And then stepping right to the left here, you'll get another little linen closet right there. And then stepping into bath 2, you have the shower, the tub over here. You'll have the toilet in the left corner, and then you'll have the vanity in the right corner. You get a GFI outlet as well for that. And then this is all controlled by the 3 switches. So one switch controls the vanity lighting, which is that white squiggly line right there. The other controls the lighting above the shower. And the third switch controls the exhaust fan. Then you have an air supply in here as well. And then as soon as you step out of there, you have another hallway closet, and then you get a light here, and then that blue box right there, that's that carbon smoke combination. So that's pretty much a rundown of everything in the home. And of course, if you have any questions or anything like that, obviously, we can't communicate while I'm filming this, but if you want to text me or give me a call or anything like that with your questions, I can certainly answer those or discuss anything that you might want to see further. So last part here, I'm going to take it outside. So right outside the front door here, we have this blue wire. That will be your doorbell. You have an outlet over there. You have an outlet on this side right here. You got the recessed lighting in the ceiling there, so you got those 2. And then you have the box for the ceiling fan right there. So that is everything for there. And then I'm gonna make my way around the side of the home. You have a hose bib right there. And then on the outside over here, this is where that gas meter goes. So that is the gas part sticking out right there, and it's just currently on test, but they'll dig in the actual like laterals, so the underground like gas lines, and then it'll come up right next to there. We have your Home Team pest control box. So I forgot about that. When I go back inside, I'll point that out, but that's basically the line that we run through the home that allows them to utilize the pest control services and being able to spray the home after we've hung drywall. So everything they spray stays inside the stud base. So it's actually a pretty neat system, which I'll go over a little bit more. But they have the company name, they have their QR code, they have the phone number there. So this is something that at closing we'll again discuss a little bit more, but you can set up their services. They also do the in-ground termite units as well. So again, I highly recommend to keep up both of these services, as we are in South Carolina. Both bugs and termites are definitely an issue, and it's something you just want to avoid. And then I believe they also give you 1 year free of the spray inside the home, and they do that like quarterly. So again, from what the feedback I've heard from them is they've had pretty good customer satisfaction, and a lot of people continue to utilize the service after the fact. This white tube right here, this is attached to your drainage side of your plumbing system. So if there's ever any kind of backage, they can go in, they'll cut that down, but they'll go in and they can snake in there and undo any blockage. This white wire is for the photocell light. So and I'll point it out in just a sec. So on the corner of every garage, you have a little box for a light fixture, which they'll put on there like a coach light. And basically as the sun's going down, the lights come on. So it kind of lights up the whole area so it's not so dark over here. Right next to that, this is where the AC line is coming in. So they'll pour like a 4x4 concrete pad, or they'll put a prefabbed pad in place, and this is where they'll set the unit, and they give you an outlet right there. And then that orange wire is the power supply for that. Right over here is where your hot water unit will sit. So you've got that gas line right there, your hot and cold supply lines, and then your power and another outlet there as well. And this allows it so if they need to do any work, they have a place to plug in. And you'll see these silver tubes hanging out the side of the soffits. So that's all your exhaust vents to prevent putting as many holes as possible, or limiting the amount of holes in your roof. We run them out the side of the soffit, and they'll put like a cap on them kind of, so you really don't even notice them once they actually get the soffit in place. And that'll all be completed after they do your siding. This is where that meter base will go. So this is the conduit for both internet providers, and then it's also the conduit for your electric power. So this runs underneath, and it goes up through the slab and then into the panel. So that gray wire you see, or that gray conduit you see below the panel, that's what this is right here. And then right over here, this is another hose bib right there. And then this is just marking where the water goes into the home. So that water cutoff switch is on the other side of this wall, and this is that water line that they'll hook up at the trim out. They'll hook up to that. So that white pipe just signifies where that is outside. And then like I was talking about for that green TX line, that's this right here. So it's got little slits in it, so they can go to that point outside and they can spray, and they don't even have to enter your home, but they can spray it. And what it does is as it goes through the system, it disperses into the stud bay, and it stays inside, so you don't even have to have anybody spraying your baseboards. But that is everything that typically we cover at this meeting. I've done the full run around of the house. So like I said, if you have any other questions that you want to discuss, or anything else you need to discuss on Monday or so, we can talk a little bit more about that. So hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and thank you. Have a good weekend and have a great New Year's.